Hello and welcome to episode 88 of Kaiju Curry House, the fortnightly show that gives you a healthy dose of kaiju goodness every other Monday. I'm joined by my co-host, Smokey Joe. There he is. And we have a special guest with us today, Mr. Alex Rushdy from Seismic Toys. Welcome,
Hello.
Alex.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome
back.
Yeah, so we had you before because you were here to talk about Dawn of the Monsters from 13am Games, where you're the CEO. But we found out that you're also the co-founder of Seismic Toys. And so
yes,
we want to find out today all about, I guess, how you make toys, how your journey began and the whole toy awesomeness. If you're watching on YouTube, we will be showing some Seismic Toys. So audio listeners, please check us out on YouTube. But before we get into the fun there, we've got to ask, Joe, what have Kaiju been up to?
Glad you asked, Paul. Joe's had a very eventful last few days because Joe spent some money over, I forget which lockdown, but there was a lockdown and I was at home. I saw really cool stuff being teased by Star Ace. I have finally received my deluxe black and white Rhedosaurus and my deluxe Colossa Cyclops from Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, and I am over the moon with them. They're fantastic. I'm going to take some decent pictures, put them on a turntable, and release that on YouTube with my thoughts on them. But they are first rate, and I have nothing but good things to say about them. Even the packaging has been upgraded to a standard that I was really impressed with. So, hot dog, it has been a great Kaiju week for Joe. Paul, what have Kaiju been up to?
Well, Joe, I finished The Land That Time Forgot. So I finished that. So I know so what you mean about Miss LeRae kind of becoming, what's her name? I've actually forgotten it already. Was it Miss LeRae? LeRae? Anyway, the lady in it where she's all half defenseless at the start of the story, but by the end of it, she's actually grown as a character and she can hold her own. So that was good. But it was more than that. They also had the people that Time Forgot in here. So that's the second part of the Castback trilogy. So I've read that now. So that's to us, it's a very similar story beat, but it kind of skips almost straight to being on the island, and we've got Tom who's got in rescue of the original people, and he meets up with another a native there called a Jaw, and they go on a journey together trying to get north of Castback to become Gallus. And I really enjoyed it, I have to say. And
it's a good yarn.
It is good. And next I've got Out of Time's Abyss. That's the final part, so I'll be reading that.
That's where they go to the part of the island past current human evolution.
Right, okay, so they go
they go into basically
evolution.
Our evolutionary future.
Okay,
that's where it gets wild, but it's a great yarn. And if you've watched the movie, which I know you have, it's fun. It's a great movie, but it doesn't quite finish where you'd expect it to, and there's more to that story, and it's a lot of fun. So I think it's great. With anything that Edgar Rice Burroughs writes, it's just a page turner.
Yeah. Okay. I look forward to reading the final part. I also went to Nottingham recently with my wife, and we visited the Haunted Museum there.
Were there ghosts?
There might be.
Ghosts don't count as kaiju, but I am curious.
No, but while we're there, they had a few things, whether or not you believe they're true or not. They had a Fiji mermaid, a skeleton of a Fiji mermaid,
right?
A sea pixie.
I've not heard of a sea pixie. Oh, no. That's probably like a stingray that's been modified.
And then also they had this bird, but they said they didn't know what it was, but it was reptilian, so it looked kind of like a baby dinosaur.
Birds are dinosaurs, so any baby bird would be a baby dinosaur there, Paul.
But it had like a tail with like a lizard's tail. It looked like a dinosaur more than a bird.
Did it have a blue face and red eyes?
It's pretty much all just kind of like a faded red color.
Right, no clue. I thought you were going to say a Hudson, but anyway.
I will put some pictures up.
Was it alive or dead?
Oh no, these are all dead. These are all skeletons. These are all things they had.
Taxidermy.
Yes, they had a lot of taxidermy. They had rats dressed up as Ghostbusters and all sorts there. It was
okay. This is getting a bit weird now.
Yeah, but they also had a life-size thing. The head that comes off and has the tentacles and the legs. They had the life-size. I don't know if it was the actual film used one, because they had like the
I
saw
doubt
puppet.
That's probably in some like prop store archive sort of.
Yeah, I imagine it's like they're old, but yeah, I mean they had. I mean it was fun. I mean my wife got a bit spooked out by the room of dolls, but yeah,
I hate a room of dolls. Those China dolls are terrible.
It is creepy.
They have black eyes like a doll's eyes.
But yeah, they had some mythical creatures on display apparently, and some film props, or But either way, it was cool. And I also watched the film Shang-Chi, the Marvel film. And
dragon.
It's got some dragons in it. I didn't see that. I was like,
a dragon and like a giant demon creature.
Yeah,
so spoilers, of course. But
sorry, spoilers. Yeah, I was thinking, it's Marvel. It's not going to be a bad film, and it was really good. And then,
contrary to popular belief, Marvel can make a bad film.
I'm sure they can, but whenever I've watched a Marvel film, it's been. I mean, I haven't watched a bad one yet. They've all been good, if not great. And that end battle with the dragons, I just thought was really cool.
Nice. I still have to. That one's like on my queue, and I just have been waiting to get around to it.
Yeah, it's just that's it. It's like, should I watch it? I was like, I don't know what else to watch, and it's on Disney Plus, so let's give it a go.
To be fair, like I've seen the aisles in Walmart. I've seen pictures of like this ginormous dragon toy. So if you've been to the toy aisle in Walmart, they've properly spoiled this movie for you.
I saw in Toys R Us. I was like, a big dragon. I was like, oh, Shang-Chi, big dragon. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Cool.
I'm a little more interested now.
So. This is an interesting thing. So Shang-Chi, the Mandarin, the Five Rings, this is all closely tied into Fin Fang Foom, who is a Marvel character. Now,
I've been waiting for him to show up.
I know. When they had the Mandarin, like all those years back for Iron Man 2, I think it was Iron Man. No, Iron Man 3. Sorry. But that was a bad Marvel movie for anybody who's listening. Anyway, that's your example. But yeah, so Fin Fang Foom is an alien. But to us, he is your classic kind of European dragon. In the original Marvel like comics, he wore purple pants because every large green thing did back then.
Yeah.
But he's very intelligent. He's colossal in size, and he's pretty rowdy and awesome. But I'm waiting for Fin Fang Foom. And the dragon that we got in that movie was not Fin Fang Foom. It's rather beautiful creature that it shows kind of like its origin as a koi, because it has lovely koi coloration on its scales and whatnot. It's really neat. But I'm not going to spoil any more for that because Alex hasn't seen it. But it is now time for Paul and I to jointly ask Alex.
Yeah.
What have Kaiju been up to?
Well, first
watching Shang-Chi.
I am not watching Shang-Chi. I was having some mic trouble, so I couldn't pipe up. But I haven't read the Edgar Rice Burroughs books yet. I have At the Earth's Core. I've been reading At the Earth's Core.
Okay, yeah.
But Land of Time Forgot is like one of my favorite dinosaur movies of all time. So like I've been looking for a copy of that book to finally read.
They're so cheap. Just get it on Amazon. But if you don't absolutely fall in love with Edgar Rice Burroughs as an author, I will be shocked, because Land of Time Forgot is amazing. He wrote Tarzan of the Apes, which is amazing and ends on a cliffhanger. And then he had A Princess of Mars, which is one of my all-time favorite books. It is great. It is the inspiration for Superman and Star Wars and so many others. It is incredible. But always, always, always give Edgar Rice Burroughs your time, ladies and gentlemen.
Good to know.
Great movie though. I love those puppet dinosaurs. They're amazing.
I can talk about that movie for a long time.
We will invite you back, and we will re-talk about it.
The whole there was like a Kevin Connor quadrilogy of adventure films, and I think all but one were adaptations of Edgar Rice Burroughs books. So Warlords of Atlantis, I don't think was an adaptation of anything.
No, it wasn't. It was its own thing.
It was its own thing, but it was same director and
Oh yeah, it's got a very similar feel for sure.
Yeah. Also, unavailable in North America on home video, and has been since I think the 90s.
Oh,
wow.
Fun fact.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Only Warlords of Atlantis.
Why are we spoiled over here?
That's strange that we have it.
That's a first on this podcast. Yeah. I'm telling you what.
Well, we can always send you a copy. I don't know if it's region free or not, but we can get it and send it across.
Yeah, I get a UK copy. Yeah, but cherish that of all the films.
We do. The one with armadillos is our podcast episode specifically about that film.
Nice.
What were they called? The Gorgs or something like that? Things that they were.
Remember.
Oh, I don't know what they were called.
And there's that bog creature that comes out. And, yeah, there's some cool stuff in that movie.
And
but
poor Nessie.
Yeah. What have I? Okay, so I've been up to a bunch of kaiju stuff. I recently just spent way too much money on a buy order to get the Bullmark Aurora Mechagodzilla, or maybe it's a Marusan. I gotta double check. But anyways, it's a Sofubi Aurora Mechagodzilla and a glitter Titanosaurus, and a Kyomoto Collection Ultraman Gaia, which is just a giant Ultraman Gaia that I'm gonna have to fit in my house. And I've also been watching a lot of Ultraman. I am almost done Ultraman Taro, and I'm almost done Ultraman Gaia. And Ultraman Gaia is like probably my favorite Ultraman show of all time.
Are you rewatching these, or are you just catching up on some recent releases?
These are recent releases that I'm catching up on, but I have seen Gaia before. Ultraman Taro, I hadn't. This is my first time watching it. It's a pretty wild show. It's pretty insane. The next episode has Pinocchio as the kaiju that they're fighting. So it's pretty goofy, but it's pretty.
You
fun.
Figure they would have gone Monstro first, but I
think so. But no, it's Pinocchio, and then Ultraman Gaia is one of the series from like the late 90s, done by the writer of a bunch of anime and stuff. But I think probably most people would know him for Digimon Tamers, which was like a popular season of Digimon. Yeah, he's written a bunch of stuff. He's written a bunch of Lovecraft stuff. That's what he's known for initially. But yeah, Ultraman Gaia is basically Ultraman with more of a overarching plot and a lot of Lovecraft stuff and a like kind of evil, kind of good guy rival Ultraman for the main Ultraman to contend with. So a lot of Ultraman.
So are you looking forward to Shin Ultraman this year?
Oh yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I kind of don't know what to think because we've seen so little of it.
It's just been like a snippet, isn't it? Like a 5-second clip or something.
Yeah, a 5-second clip and like a bunch of merchandise.
I feel like COVID's been like, like the whole lockdown COVID experience, like stuff just hasn't been spoiled, has it? Like there's nothing to leak off of set because only the people that are there, like specifically for a job are there to leak, like
no one's sneaking onto those sets and taking pictures of things. So I mean the movie's got to be done. They're just holding on to it. So May is when it's coming out, and I can't wait to see what that's going to be like. Yeah, and I'm also excited about that Netflix Ultraman movie that I think is coming in a few years. It's still pretty early, but again,
I didn't even know they were doing one.
Yeah, it's being animated by like ILM, like Lucasfilm.
Okay, nice.
And it has some really cool people working on it. It's going to be an animated movie. I'm all in.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Also, that recently dropped was the news that Apple TV is picking up a MonsterVerse series with Godzilla. Yeah. This is different from the Kong series, which was also teased. So I think that was really interesting piece of news that not only are we going on different platforms for different kaiju, in theory, according to like what's been reported, but we have the MonsterVerse Godzilla continuing, which a lot of people were kind of up in the air about, wondering what would happen there. So a lot of news, for kaiju and films going forward. It's crazy.
Yeah, like good news.
About I think it was like a week. I want to say about a week before that announcement came out, I was chatting with my friend Steve, and I said, this is the first time since, I don't know, I guess 2012 maybe, or 2011, that we haven't had news of like an active Godzilla project on its way. And I was like, this year it's Shin Ultraman, the Ultraman anime, and video releases and stuff like that. But like there wasn't like a new movie or a TV show. I was like, there's nothing Godzilla on the horizon right now. And I was like, we haven't had this experience for a long time. And then a week later, they announced the series.
Yeah, but I remember that after Final Wars, but there was just nothing for quite a while.
There was nothing.
I know, those were scary times.
That was
those were scary times.
And I think technically we've still got the comics. I think IDW is making new comics. I haven't.
Yes, yeah.
Godzilla
versus
cool.
Power Rangers.
Godzilla versus Power Rangers. I'm actually pretty excited about. But yeah, it was like there won't be a movie or anything. There's nothing on the horizon, and then
there you go.
Series. So
Bosh. Right. Before we take our first break, we're going to go ahead. And again, we are looking for a new name for this segment, but as of this moment, it is Kaiju Letters. We've had some more write-ins, folks. Thank you for writing in. We aren't making you up. This is great. So we have 3 questions tonight for everybody. So first of all, we have Steve. And Steve asks, what is the best Gamera movie in your opinion? Now, we've got a few to pick from now. So we'll start with the guest first. Alex, what do you think?
Very hard to choose. But if someone came up to me and they said, I'm only going to watch one Gamera movie, or like if there's one Gamera movie I should watch, where should I start? For me, it would be Gamera Guardian of the Universe. Just because
solid choice.
It's the Heisei trilogy is probably my favorite 3. I switch which one is my favorite like every year, but if you're going to start somewhere, Guardian of the Universe is a great starting point. And it's also just like a fantastic film. So that'd be my vote. I watched that with my dad years and years ago, and even he liked it. So like, he's not a big kaiju guy, so it's just a great movie.
It is a great movie. It really is. Paul?
Is it cheating if I say the same thing?
No, you can jump on that train if you want to.
Because to be fair, I've only seen that trilogy, the trilogy, and then got Gamera the Brave and the first original Gamera. I haven't seen any of the others. So there's like 10 films, I guess.
There's an Arrow video box set which you could buy, sir.
I have it. I have the box set.
What are you doing? It's like you buy things.
Yeah,
have you read that?
It's like
we're going to stop this segment right now. Paul, have you read that alien picture book I got you?
You got me this for my birthday. I need to finish this. Then I'll go on to my Christmas present, Joe. One book at a time.
Picture book. Gosh. Right. I'm going to buck the trend here. For me, because I'm old school, for me, it would be between the original Gamera versus Gauss, because that was cool having a vampire kaiju. That was legit. But I like the original. I just really enjoy the original, the hokey American cut of it.
Oh, the American cut as well.
Oh yeah, that's
2 M's.
It's amazing. Like telling the only woman in the office, you better go brew a pot of coffee. It's gonna be a long night. Like she isn't more qualified than that. It's just like one of those, what do you call it? Like you bury something and like dig it up years later. Like what is that called?
Like a time capsule, an artifact.
It's a time capsule. That's what it is. Gamera, the Invincible, is a time capsule. It is beautiful for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy going back to that film. All right. So the second question comes from Emmanuel. And who would win in a fight? Single point Gabara, which I went ahead and looked it up whilst I was getting these. It would be Salanga. I think that's what everybody calls him. Mm-hmm. Or Hedora. So we have the pollution monster versus the general unstoppable demon. He got stabbed through the skull in multiple points.
Yeah.
I mean, this requires a bit of thought, honestly.
We never got to see Salunga like fight any kaiju, but he seemed pretty.
I think he could hold his own.
He looked like a scrapper. He wasn't very big though.
But on the flip side, Hedra like beats the tar out of Godzilla. I mean, they needed the military to set up a bunch of stuff to take out. Like Godzilla couldn't take out Hedra on his own. So that's hard for me to say. I feel like
anything with nostrils, could get suffocated. And
well, yeah, I suppose they could just
they'll smell Hedra and be like, oh, geez, now.
But I mean, like he got impaled through the lungs and stuff too. Like
it's probably gonna be a stalemate.
You see, I read this question and I didn't think there was a lot of thought behind it, but now that we kind of discussed it, there is like a logic train, isn't there?
Yeah, this is not an easy one to call.
Because I mean, brute strength's not going to do anything against slime. You just hit it, your fist goes through, and then you're stuck.
But then Salunga is kind of unkillable.
Yeah, so
crap.
This is the ultimate.
I wasn't expecting.
This is the ultimate version of that classic question of who would kill who. It's like, well, in this case, I don't know either.
Ooh, should we give this one a tie?
I think it has to be.
Yeah, let's go to tie.
They just run out of time, don't they? They get bored and go their separate ways.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they get bored.
All right, so Louise comes to us with the final question of the night, and I think it's cool because it's a King Kong question. You guys know how I love Kong.
Yes,
so Louise asks, if King Kong was set solely on Skull Island and a woman needed to be rescued instead of a man, what would be your take on that film? So basically,
Joe, I think you meant a man needs to be rescued instead of a woman.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, a man needs to be rescued instead of a woman. Sorry,
yeah.
I've misread that. I'll read it again. If King Kong was set solely on Skull Island and a man needed to be rescued instead of a woman, what would be your take on that film?
Cool.
I think that would be incredibly watchable, honestly. I love Skull Island just as a set. And I think gender bending that film would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see how it could make it worse in any way. I mean, that's it's nice to put a twist on it.
Yeah,
I think that would be welcome.
I love the original King Kong. I love Peter Jackson's King Kong. I love Skull Island, all the stuff. But especially when it comes to the classic King Kong story, every time I watch it, if I'm being 100% honest, the moment they leave Skull Island, I'm not disinterested, but I'm a little like,
you're sad. That place was cool. It had dinosaurs.
It was an awesome place, yeah.
Skull Island rules. So, setting a whole movie there like they did with the 2017 movie, I'm into. Having a guy be kidnapped, I think could be really interesting, especially like if the guy's a real asshole and they're like, maybe we don't want to save him. Or like,
you see, the thing is Louise didn't actually put in her question or like give any. I mean, I've read her whole question, and although I got it wrong the first time, but she didn't say anything about Kong kidnapping the man. It just says woman rescuing a man.
Yeah, could be
so.
Any number.
I think that's really cool. Like, what if Kong and this woman, like they have like a trainer Kong or like a buddy relationship, and like they set out to rescue this man. Like he's gone all exploring and didn't know what he was getting into. I mean, like, there's all sorts of different ways that you could spin that. I think that's really cool. I like that. We would watch that, Louise.
We would, yes.
Louise, write that and turn it into a comic, and then pitch it to Legendary and
pitch this to Legendary. You have 3 bona fide kaiju fans that are willing to line up and do this. So there we go. And with kaiju letters out of the way, we will take our first break. Catch you later, folks. Hello and welcome back to episode 88. We have Alex from Seismic Toys, and we are now going to talk about Seismic Toys and all of the fantastic things that are coming our way and have been released. Alex, how's it going? And what have we got to look forward to, first of all?
It's going well, and we've got plenty of toys to look forward to. As far as Seismic's concerned, the last toy we released was Gyros in our Ultraman Vinyl Odyssey line, and it was our best selling toy ever. It actually our pre-orders sold out to the point where we had to increase the number that we manufactured just to meet demand. So
that's a good sign.
That is a very good sign. Yes.
And it means that the future of the Ultraman Vinyl Odyssey line is in good hands. The future of Seismic is in good hands. We're going to keep making cool toys.
For our viewers on YouTube, can we see this Gyrus figure?
There he is.
Now, you see, the thing is, I really like the coloration that's on this.
Yeah, I don't have the best lighting here, but the one thing that we try to do with all of our toys is we offer a kind of like
translucent
kind of thing, so that the sunlight or whatever your lighting settings are. I don't know. When something's 3D, I like the idea that where you place it and how you light it can have a big impact on how it looks. So yeah, we did that here. This was officially licensed from Superia, sculpted by Mike Lambert, and then produced by Seismic, myself and Chris Olio.
So for those of you who can't see what Alex is holding up, it's Gyrus, however you want to pronounce this name. But this was an Ultraman villain, and essentially it was Godzilla, and he had the Dilophosaurus frill from Jurassic Park. That's the way that we're going to describe this. So what Alex is holding up, it isn't necessarily the colors that he was in that show, but what it is almost, I want to say that it's almost like a stained glass effect. We have some beautiful melding and like channeling of color. We have some teals feeding into some like really great neon blues. His dorsal plates have gone like a clear yellow into like a really nice amber color. It's gorgeous. It looks great. So kudos to you guys, but definitely check it out on YouTube, because my brief description does not do it justice. It's a really beautiful figure. Well done.
Thank you very much.
And I see why it's sold out.
But I say that's it. It's you've done well when you have to increase production.
Yeah. We obviously we're small, and we like to make things in limited quantities, because we're not able to put this toy in Walmart or whatever, and we're kind of feeding into that collector mentality. But I think we've all been in a situation where we really want something, we hear that it's limited, and then we wait on, it's dropping at 12:01 p.m. on Monday, and we wait and refresh the page until we can get it into our cart and buy it, and then we just don't get it. And I've always just found that frustrating, more than anything, because then I just miss out on the thing I like. So what we do instead is we offer an open pre-order period, which is if anyone puts in an order between this time and this time, we're going to fulfill every order.
Okay.
And then
that's a really gentlemanly way to do it. Yeah.
That's why I think it's a better way to do it, because it's still limited. We're not committing to making thousands of these things, or even hundreds, but it allows everyone who wants one essentially to get one. And then whatever we do is, okay, let's say we make this many, like for example, Gyros, it was an edition of 180. So I think that our pre-orders and pre-sale put us at like 125 or 150, actually. We had to increase. And we just said, okay, well, we'll order an additional 30, so that on the day that it comes out, if people miss the pre-order period, we'll have some stock on the website for people who missed out and still want to grab it. So there's actually still a few left on the website for those who missed out.
What's that website for the folks listening?
Seismictoys.com.
There we go. Seismictoys.com.
Seismictoys.com. So how did Seismic begin, Alex? And how long ago did it begin?
Well, I'm trying to think. So in reality, Seismic was created as an entity in 2019, but its origins go back further than that. Every year, except for the past 2, I go to G-Fest in Chicago, and I get to see my friends from all around, mostly North America, who I otherwise wouldn't get to see, in one place to talk about and Kaiju and watch Kaiju movies and buy a ton of plastic dinosaurs together. It's
you
a
make
lot
that
of fun.
sound like such a dirty thing.
I love calling them plastic dinosaurs. So
some of them are rubber too.
Some of them are rubber. Some of them, are even tin. After a certain point, I've been going to G-Fest for about, the last one I went to was my 10th. And after a certain point, Chris Olio and I, we kind of thought, well, I've got a bunch of, we each had a bunch of old toys that we didn't want anymore, that we picked up, I guess, while we were younger or whatever. We just kind of grown out of and ran out of space and refocus. And I think a lot of people go through that when they're collecting kaiju toys, as they get older, they go, oh, you know what? All this stuff that I bought, I actually only like this stuff, and the rest of the stuff I can just sell. And what we did is we took it to G-Fest, got a dealer's table, and sold it at the dealer's table. So we decided, well, this is a good idea. And so we made that plan. And while we were making it, we realized, oh, you know what? We know a lot about toys. We've got a pretty good head on the market. Why don't we see if we can buy some toys and sell them? Like, if someone's parting with their collection and the price is good enough that we know we can sell it for a price people would actually consider decent, then we can buy up lots and take the toys to G-Fest and sell them there. So we did. I think we bought someone's collection that they were selling. It was a really good price, and we were like, okay, well, we can take this to G-Fest, try and sell it, and see what happens. So we did that, initially just hoping, okay, we're going to make back our table fees, and we're going to maybe make back our money on the toys that we bought and make a little gravy on top of that. And we just made way more money than we thought we would. So we were like, okay, maybe this is an actual business we can get into, and we can start to import toys, and we can start to do all that kind of stuff. So the next year we came back with an even bigger table and more stuff, and we did even better. And after that, we said to each other, we would always joke, one of these days we're going to make our own Sofubi. We're going to make our own soft vinyl, classic style kaiju toy. But we never really had an idea of what it would be or even how to do it. And then in 2000, I think late 2018, early 2019, 13 AM Games, my company that my day job, decided that we were going to work on a kaiju game. And we, started doing concept art and stuff and started planning things out. And I called up Chris and I said, I got something I want to show you. And I showed him the kaiju from the game. I showed him Megadon. And I said, what do you think about making a toy of this? Because we could just license it from 13AM Games. They're already going to do promotion for the game. They want a marketing thing, so maybe they can pitch in a bit. And we were able to make the Megadon toy. So when we went to G-Fest 2019, we had a bunch of these with us. We announced the game at the show, and then we put the toy on sale, and the toy sold really well. And shortly after G-Fest, it sold out completely. So we were like, okay, this is doable. We can make toys, and we can sell them, and we can create a business out of this. And we were really excited to bring more toys to G-Fest next year. Then 2020 happened, and we didn't get to go to G-Fest, so we started to focus.
2021 happened.
Yeah, 2021 happened. So we made more toys. The following year, we made an Arctic Blast version of Megadon. So he's got.
Okay, folks. So this is a brilliant figure. Again, go on the YouTube recording of this episode. But what we've got is, it's your classic tail dragging kind of dinosaur design for a kaiju. We've got some big beefy arms. We've got a grappling sort of lizard. He's blue, and then he has the dorsal plates. He has one large jagged one coming out between his shoulders. And then he's got some great gnarly horns, and then a large crest horn, I guess you'd call it. And his body's this wonderful dark blue with lighter blue highlights. And is that kind of a glitter effect in there too?
Yeah, that's glitter.
Yeah, he's got that. So it's amazing. And then we've got these ice highlights. So we've got like starting out as like a pale sky blue and like, or maybe kind of like a pale teal, and then it like crests in white highlights. So it is a gorgeous, gorgeous figure. Like all those colors work beautifully together. But wow, that's a good one. Sorry, I just wanted to describe for our listeners
that's
this goodness that you're holding up.
We were pretty excited about having the classic Megadon and the Arctic Megadon, and we were stoked to bring to G-Fest Arctic, and we couldn't bring him to G-Fest. So we started focusing more on our website on seismictoys.com and using that to do direct to consumer sales. And it was a big transition. Like, it's not something that we're well versed in, but we were able to build up a following on Instagram at Seismic Toys, and following on our website, and get people excited about this stuff. And then we followed up Arctic Megadon with another creature from Dawn of the Monsters, which is Ganira, the giant crab beast. So she's a hefty figure, and she's also got the kind of translucent look to her. So we released this, was it early last year? And anyways, as we were doing this stuff, waiting for the game to launch, we started to think about, like, hey, is it possible for us to maybe, like, once we've done a couple of these other figures, to maybe approach some of our favorite kaiju licenses, kaiju brands, and be like, hey, do you want to make a toy with us? And what we did was we looked around, we asked around, and I had a previous connection from a trip to Japan with Tsuburaya Productions, the people who make Ultraman. And in 2019, or I think in 2018, they started to move into North America and the rest of the world, really, in terms of bringing Ultraman content out, because a previous legal battle, which is beyond the scope of this podcast, but a previous legal battle had prevented them from doing so. So in 2018, they won the legal battle, and they said, Ultraman's coming to North America. And the following year, they started releasing every single Ultraman show on DVD, Blu-ray, streaming. They released the Ultraman anime on Netflix. They're, continuing to do all sorts of Ultraman stuff here. And I was like, well, these guys really want to bring Ultraman stuff to the world. We love Ultraman. Why don't we try reaching out and through that connection and see if we can do something? And yeah, I mean, they saw our stuff. They liked it. They agreed to work with us, and we started making a new toy line. So we have our Dawn of the Monsters toy line, and now we have the Ultraman Vinyl Odyssey toy line. And we released Giros on Ultraman Day last year, took pre-orders, did the whole manufacturing process, did the whole shipping process. Thanks to the global shipping crisis, it took much longer than we wanted it to, but he's now in everyone's hands. And this is our latest and greatest. So it was a journey from our first toy in 2019 all the way to this guy releasing right at the very end of 2021. That's allowed us to keep doing what we love and keep making toys.
Nice. So I mean, how for the game toys, I guess, do you use the models or the artwork from the game? I mean, how do you get this sculpt? Because I take it you're not a sculptor.
No, I'm not. I have done sculpting before, but what we do is we take any of the reference material, concept art, or assets from the game, and we use those as a reference in creating a new sculpt for the toy. And we've been working with Mike Lambert. Mike actually worked on Dawn of the Monsters, or he still works at 13 AM Games, and he does the sculpts for these toys. So when it came to like Megadon, we wanted to stylize him a bit from how he looked in the game. So
yeah,
his proportions are different. He's chunkier. Honestly, one of the biggest inspirations for us was toys from the 1990s like this, like the Trendmasters Godzilla, or Extreme Dinosaurs or Primal Rage, those kind of toys that have really exaggerated features, exaggerated musculature. So yeah, we take a lot of stuff from the games as reference, but then we fully model it ourselves originally. Yeah,
that's very cool.
I'm loving the fact that someone else talks about Primal Rage besides me.
Yeah, you need to get their license and make some toys of the.
I would love to make. Can you imagine like Sauron and?
Yes, I could.
And all those guys and
make it happen.
Scale this big, like,
who owns the license to that?
Warner Brothers.
Is it Warner Brothers? Okay.
Yeah.
And they
I'll get on the horn with Warner.
They would need to make a lot of money.
They need to make a new series or something with that, because Primal Rage was awesome. Recently, you've had some folks like bring out a few like Primal Rage homages, you might say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we haven't had any true stuff.
On my so I have a blog that I run called Control All Monsters. You can just go to controlallmonsters.com, and it's kind of talking about kaiju and video games is the general gist of it. And kaiju video games is the most important part. And I did a article on the full history of Primal Rage, and I dug into the origin of the game, how they made it, because like they had Hollywood level stop motion talent working on that game. I know.
It was incredible.
It was fantastic. And the canceled sequel, Primal Rage 2.
I played it.
About that. Yeah, it's a great game. They should have released that. It sucks that they didn't release it. Yeah, there's just so much to that and of course the toys. I grew up. I think the toys. I picked up the toys. Yeah, I've still got a few. I'm trying to collect the gaps. I don't have a few of them like Armadon, but
I do.
Do you have the whole set?
I have everyone except Necrosan.
Oh yeah, Matt Frank has Necrosan in box. I don't know how he got that.
Because he's Matt Frank. Yeah. Sorry, Matt. I know you're listening to this, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Envy. You know what I've seen recently that, like it really got me going. So you can find people who do the Ultimasaurus from the Chaos Effect line, fully posable. And the thing is like there's one fella on Instagram who has a prototype, modeled it, and he 3D like uses resin 3D printing to give you the Ultimasaurus canceled like figure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, when we take our next break, I'll go ahead and I'll get his deets just so I can say him at the end of the podcast for anybody who's interested in that. But that was a funny one because the horns were too sharp to release to children. Those big rowdy like horns coming out of the heads, like, yeah, kids getting stabbed with those. But toys are great, and just like the licensing thereof, like the world would be such a cool place. Like it's actually becoming a cool place because you have a lot of people like yourself that are making the toys that we want to see. Like people are just rising up and saying, you know what? I wanted that when I was a kid. I'm making it.
Yeah.
So
we've got the tools to empower people to do this now. So
it's really cool to do that kind of thing. So what does the future hold? So any ideas on what your next monsters might be?
I mean, I can't give away the ghost, but I'll say this, we wanted to go out the gate with Jiros because he's
iconic,
a favorite. He's iconic. He's a favorite of a lot of people. And, personally speaking, there are Jiros toys that exist, but there wasn't one that I was like super excited about. There's even some good looking toys, but there wasn't a Jiros toy that made me go like, yeah, that's, I need to have that in my collection. So we wanted to create a really stylized, leaner, meaner Jiros. But I will say that when it comes to the Ultraman Vinyl Odyssey line, it's not just Kaiju that we plan on doing. We've got plans for any characters from the Ultraman series, and sky's the limit. So we're hoping that we can release more figures this year than we did last year. So last year we released 2 or 3 figures. So we're hoping that we can release at least 3, maybe 4 figures this year.
So for folks who have to budget like myself, we looking like Q3, Q4, or are we spreading that out?
Well, hopefully we'll be spreading it out. I mean, if all goes well, we'll probably have one come out Q2 and then head into Q3 and Q4. We've got two that we're actively developing right now. One is pretty close to full production, and one is still in early sculpting phase. But yeah, we're hoping that we can make more and more, and also make them like more exciting to with either gimmicks or bonus features or whatever we can to make them the best vinyl toys they can be.
That's awesome. That's really cool that you're having more monsters come out and potentially other characters too. This has me intrigued. So are we going to get like some of the human Ultra Crew in their awesome orange attire?
That I haven't considered. I mean, I was like, we're looking at ultras and other characters like that, but I actually love the human characters as well. So I wonder if that's something we can dip into. There have been toys of the humans before, like Dan Muraboshi and Shin Hayata and that kind of stuff, but I think that's a cool idea.
It would be fun. I mean, like the way I could see it, what seems to be all the rage for my youngsters right now is they have these different figures that you can find at all these like shops. And what they are is they're essentially like smartphone holders. Like that's what
yeah, yes.
But like I could imagine, like what are these characters big, like holding a phone, or you could have Ultraman like in the pose, like with the hand up holding a phone.
That's great.
I know, like just these different ideas, but there's like all these different ways that you could take it. It's fun. Like toys, man. You get to make your own. You can come up with all these ideas. It must be
fun.
So when you're making the toys and throwing out all these ideas, do you guys just sit in a room, or is this just like writing on a notepad? Like when you wake up late at night, it's like, idea. So like, how does this come to you? Is it just a personal creative process, or is there a lot more collaboration?
I think there's a decent amount of collaboration, but what we do is we have a list. We have a list of characters that we want to work with. Mm-hmm. And basically what we'll do is we'll sit and collaborate and think about, okay, for this character, like first off, would they make a cool toy? Like, is this something that we can think of an idea off the top of our heads that goes, I can think of how to make that really cool as a soft vinyl toy? Because that has to be the first level of like, I guess that's the first hurdle that the character has to clear is, do we have a cool idea for how to realize the toy? So for example, with Gyros, we were like, oh, well, we want to use the translucent materials on his frill so that it will, light will pierce through and stuff like that, and pierce through his body. And we want to make him meaner and stuff. So that's the thing. We can make a cool figure. Next is, are there other figures of this toy? If so, are there a lot, or are there, is there a toy out there that we look at and go like, you know what, can we really do much better than that? Like, we really love that figure. Can we really compete with it? So that's a question. Like, for example, even though I love Alien Balton, like there's so many Alien Balton figures. Like, do we need another? Probably not. Like, maybe someday we'll do one, but the truth is there's so many that it's we wouldn't get as excited. And then it's the question of like, okay, if it clears all those, like, is this a character that not just we care about, but that we think people care about and that they'll be excited about enough to pick up? So once it clears all three of those hurdles, then we start spitballing ideas. And so usually we have multiple kaiju or multiple characters that have met that criteria, and it's a matter of, okay, what's the one to pick to do next? And sometimes it's to line up with anniversaries or release schedules or new movies or whatever. But that's the kind of high level process, at least with the Ultraman stuff. And with the Dawn of the Monsters stuff, the game isn't out yet, but we kind of would like to eventually get through all the characters, at least the main player characters.
There we go.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to take our second break. Aren't we awesome? Please come back for part 3.
All right. Welcome back to Kaiju Curry House. I'm Alex Rushdy from Seismic Toys, and we're talking about Kaiju.
Yes, we are. So we were talking about other toys in your line, and you showed us over the break how awesome some of them are. So apparently you can get your toys just like in a full-on translucent vinyl, right?
Yes. Yeah, there are limited quantities of these basically unpainted clear vinyl versions of the toys available. I think right now the only ones left are Ganira here and Gyros. There's a clear version of Gyros. It's kind of a clear yellow. And
Nice.
We do that just because some people like the look of the kind of clear, raw, unpainted vinyl, and other people like to then buy those and customize them. So what we actually did for Designer Con last year is we had a couple of artists take some of our clear Ganiras and do custom versions that we then sold at Decon, and I think now we've got them up on our website.
That's awesome. I like speaking from just like the clear versions, I have to say, like as someone who puts together models himself, there is something about putting a model together and then just priming it and being really satisfied with just a primed model.
Yeah.
The only thing I can really equate it to is when you do, there are folks out there that are just going to nod their head up and down when I say this, I'm sure. When you do a pencil drawing and you just leave it and you don't color it in because you don't want to screw it up. Am I right?
Yeah, there's something beautiful about it.
But there is something beautiful about it, just raw and without any additional chaos or additional color thrown in. And yeah, that was a really beautiful figure. When we were on break, it was really funny because I said it looked like a giant gusher. So Paul, as the resident UK person who grew up in the UK, Alex and I grew up in the States. Like I said, it was a gusher. We both clicked. We knew what that meant. Paul was clueless. So for any American listeners right here, it had like a blue, like clear tinted, but it was kind of it looks between matte and gloss. It's kind of an interesting texture paint as it's showing up in the camera, but it's really neat. But this is kind of like your bipedal crab monster that you were showing us.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Which is actually one of the few kaiju in Dawn of the Monsters that I personally did the concept art for.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But before I got into game design, I used to be in visual art and design. And so though the majority of stuff is, fully our art team doing it, I was like, we're making a kaiju game. I've got to make at least one kaiju. And they were like, okay.
There we go. Well, we have yammered on for quite a while now, folks. So what we're going to do is we are going to move on to that section of the podcast where we make recommendations. So it's if nothing else. Alex, if nothing else, what's the takeaway for tonight?
A recommendation?
Mm-hmm.
Buy more kaiju toys. And
specifically
from
seismictoys.com.
Specifically from seismictoys.com. Yep. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And in my opinion, okay, as we talked about before the podcast, open them up and put them on your shelves. Don't keep them in boxes and bags and packages.
Keep the tags on.
Someone has watched Toy Story.
Yeah. They're gonna suffocate in there. Yeah, the tags. I mean, take the tags off if you have the wherewithal to do so. I'm just too lazy and don't like storing them. But let the toys breathe and admire them and appreciate them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Paul, what you got?
Joe, I haven't got much in the way of toys because I've read out of room, and so I haven't bought any since my Defo Reel by Atlantic, which I do love. And is
that's a great toy.
Yeah, absolutely love that. So toy wise, I don't know, maybe dig out if you're at our age, go in your loft and see what toys you've got. I know I've still got a box of Jurassic Park toys, like the vehicles and some of the characters.
We're going to talk after this podcast, Paul.
So it's been in the loft for since I moved in, and it's just been boxed up from my parents' loft. So it's
Paul,
20 or 5 years old toys just boxed up.
That's a time capsule right there.
So yeah, so go in your loft, see what toys you've got, folks, because that could be, you could have a whole treasure trove of awesomeness up there that you've completely forgotten about.
Paul,
please make an unboxing video.
Sorry, they're not sealed. I played with them.
Yeah, but I mean,
I just have a box.
The box, I want to see you unbox the box.
Just open up and go like, through. Oh wow, I remember that.
I've got to be fair.
I had this. Oh, wow.
I can absolutely do that.
Yeah,
to be fair, I've got a tub in the garage full of my stuff that I've got.
We should do that. Old toys uncovered. Just
yes, old toys unboxed.
Yes, absolutely.
It's really funny. One of my friends, like, it was great. So he got me into Pokemon Go, and what I did is like, oh, you like Pokemon, huh? I just got out my old binders from when I think it was from like 1998 or whatever, when I was collecting, and I just had base set, Jungle, Fossil, Rocket, and Neo, just the entire sets. And he was just like, dude. I'm like, what? Dude. It's like, what? You've got them in first edition? Yeah, I was a collector. Dude.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
I know. He had me go on PSA, and now I feel a bit sheepish because I'm just like, oh God, they're just in binders. What do I do? I'm not going to touch them.
Yeah, it's that stuff's crazy. But yeah, you could have like I don't know. You could have a down payment on a car in there.
Oh, I looked it up. I think there's more than that.
Yeah.
I was scared. Agumon's my favorite Pokemon, by the way. How many people did I just piss off? So we've got that unboxing video from Paul. We should have an unbox off. That's what we should do. We should go on YouTube and have an unbox off. Recommendations from Joe. So whether or not anybody knows it, today, years ago, 14 years ago, was the day that Cloverfield got released in the United Kingdom. Who watched that in theaters?
Most of it?
I did. My psychology professor was really cool, and he came with us, and he got motion sick.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. So I didn't get to see the whole film. Okay. I had to leave because I was being sick.
It is a fun film. I was going to say, if you don't get motion sick, give that a look.
At home, it's fine. It's just that big screen.
That'd be tough.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, give Cloverfield a go. All the sequels that came after, with the exception perhaps of 10 Cloverfield Lane.
There's only 2 sequels, wasn't there? Yeah. Paradox and 10 Cloverfield Lane. So.
All right. Well, 10 Cloverfield Lane is in terms of the kaiju-ness, but watch Cloverfield, and then it should have a direct sequel to the original.
It should
coming out
at some point.
Yeah, it's been announced, so we are patiently awaiting that. Go on to Seismic Toys, check out what you can pre-order, because Alex is a gent. We want to support him. Now, earlier in the podcast, I told everybody who'd be interested in Ultimasaurus that I would find where you need to go, and that fella's name is Chaos Effect JP, all spelled out, no spaces, on Instagram. And that's some pretty cool 3D printer work right there, I'll tell you what. Anyways, folks, have a lovely night, afternoon, or morning, depending upon where you are. And as always, keep it kaiju.